Hey, welcome back, everyone. I get this question all the time, so I want to talk about it. You know, one of the things I have not done recently, and I'm going to do it now, if you like anything you hear on the channel, I want you to subscribe to the channel. We come back every week. I try to show you cash flow, cash printing machine trades in the stock market for which you can do. It's not rocket science. You just need confidence. You need your knowledge and you need your experience. You can do this. Yes, you can do this. So what I want you to do is subscribe to the channel because I come back and I talk about how to generate cash flow in retirement. Now, hey, look, if you like this video, bang that like button. It lets me know you like what I'm doing. And what I'm doing is this. We're talking about how much money do you need in retirement. Now, you're going to go to YouTube and you're going to watch all these videos and you might even read a bunch of blogs and this, that, and the other, and you don't really know. I'm in retirement, and what I'm going to tell you is this. You don't need to watch 3,000 videos on how to retire early, how much money you need in retirement. Here's what I'm going to tell you. You absolutely need to understand, first of all, there are hella healthcare expenses. If you don't have healthcare, you're going to pay at least $1,000 per person per month. $1,000 per person per month. Now, if you're on Medicare and all that stuff, well, that's a little bit different. But if you're going to retire early, yeah, you're going to pay about that much. And even if you're in a retirement age for which Medicare kicks in, you're still going to probably pay a couple $100. So you have to have some money to pay to live. How much is that? Well, first of all, you have to have a portfolio of cash, right? Because you've probably lived a life where you've had a 401k and you've never drawn from that 401k. Well, now you're going to have to draw from that 401k. So when you have capital and you draw from that capital, this will slowly deteriorate and go away. What you need to do is learn the stock market, understand how you need your money to make money, and I'll be honest with you, keep it super conservative. We need this capital, the money you've saved, to spin off in cash 4%. At least 4%. Because everybody's going to tell you the 4% rule. Look at the dude right there with his fingers up. He may be talking about something else, but it's the 4% rule. And the 4% rule says if you can create cash flow, and you can create 4% from that cash flow and spend that 4%, then you never touch your capital. Now let's talk about the very real number that is 4%. If you have $1 million, and that sounds like a lot of money, 4% annually is $40,000. Can you live off of $40,000 a year? Now, unless you're invested in non-taxable investments like muni bonds and things like that, you're going to be taxed. And 40%, you're probably going to be taxed just like income. So you're probably going to walk away with maybe spending $6,000 in income tax. So you're going to only have potentially $34,000 to live on. Can you live on $34,000? So you have to have a stack of money, right? And then what you need to do is realize what you need. This is going to be your monthly expense. You have to live month to month, right? You're in retirement. You've paid for your insurance. Hopefully you don't have any debt. We haven't even talked about debt. You got to cut debt because debt is going to be more expensive than the money you make in a 4% trade, okay? So we need to get rid of debt. We have healthcare. Now we have no debt. Or if we have debt, we got to figure it out so we can pay it down and not affect the income that's going to come in that you're going to live on. Let me say this. If you're living off your savings and you are pulling from your savings, you could outlive your money. So let's not do this. You either go out and find a financial advisor, figure it out so your money is paying you and you're living off your money. Do you understand? So, healthcare, got to pay for it. Hey, look, you don't want to take that risk. We're up in age and everything's expensive. And you could absolutely go broke if you don't have healthcare. You got to do it. So find healthcare. Then you got to reduce your debt. Cannot have debt because debt is more expensive than the money you have because the money you have is only going to generate X in the stock market. So you need to eliminate your debt. Also, you need to eliminate or reduce your spending. Look, at the end of the day, you're on a budget now. Unless you're independently wealthy, and why the hell you watching my video? You are on a budget. You are fixed income. So, once you determine what your fixed income is, what's your fixed income? The money you have, that money spins off from the stock market, and now here is the money you have to spend. That basically equals your fixed income and your expenses, because you cannot outspend the money that you're getting from the stock market. The absolute golden rule is you should not be tapping into your capital. Only in emergency situations do you pull from your capital, period. Okay? Now, because you got $1 million and you're generating like $36,000 a year, your tax is not going to be so much. You got $10 million, now you're talking taxes. Taxes might not be an issue. You need to reduce your debt. You need to come up with a budget. You need to try to have your investments generate 4% or more, right? Because the 4% rule is real. You retire and you draw 4% from your investments that make you 4%, you're going to be able to outlast your capital. Now you say to yourself, John, why do they talk about the 4% rule? Well, the 4% rule derives from Treasury notes. Treasury notes typically paid over the years 3%. And you can get involved with some closed-end funds and some various investments that might pay you 4%. So the 4% rule basically says you have to have your capital, right, the money you've saved, generate 4%, spinning that out in cash. If that generates 4%, bingo. Because 4% can typically pay for your lifestyle. Now, that's a reduced lifestyle because if you only have $1 million and you're making about $36,000 after taxes, you're not going to be living the good life. So we're going to reduce our expectations. We're going to reduce how we feel we're going to live in retirement, right? And we're going to live on a budget. We are fixed income now. Fixed income. We cannot be going out and buying a car when you have a perfectly running car. Now, that is not my opinion on people that want to keep up with the Joneses. That's not my opinion. Hey, you want to go out and buy your car? You want to buy your new iPhone for $1,000 when you have the last version, which is still worth $1,000? You do it. But you're on a fixed income now. So what happens is, if you outspend, you've got to tap your capital. And when you tap your capital, this goes away. And when this goes away, you only have this to generate 4%. And then when we dial up next year, you're not making $40,000 because this cannot generate $40,000 because you chipped this away. Now you're only making $36,000 or maybe $30,000 and get your taxes taken then. And all of a sudden now you're making less than $30,000. And all of a sudden now, shock enters the room. See, where you were living a fixed income life, where you could pay for pretty much everything, where if you have no debt, you can go out to dinners, you could even go on vacations. Look, if you're making less than $30,000, all of that is gonzo because inflation is so expensive, right? Because now, when you go on those vacations, you can't go on the expensive vacations. You have less than $30,000 to work with. So you want to go out and keep out with the Joneses. So what happens? You have your capital. You've already chiseled off that much. And now you're going to chisel off that much. Then, of course, healthcare expenses go up. Now you're screwed because your expenses are going higher. And you've already spent maybe 25% of what you had. Let me say this. I'm going to leave you on this, okay? I'm not a financial advisor. All I can tell you is this. I'm in retirement. I have this plan. I have my money. It spins off. I can live the good life because I have a plan. I execute the plan. What you need to do is have discipline. And if you have discipline, you could follow the 4% rule and you'll eliminate your debts. See, debts, that's the anchor around your neck because debts cost more than the money you'll bring in. Eliminate your debts. Also, try not to keep up with the Joneses. Look, unless you're making hand over fist, cash on cash through dividend paying stocks and maybe some other stock trading strategy that isn't so risky, because remember, this is your nest egg and you can't be so risky with it anymore. We are about wealth preservation, not wealth appreciation. See, don't be chasing those one-hit wonder stocks anymore. You're about wealth preservation, okay? So with that said, what I want you to do is make sure you make good decisions. Hey, look, I'm going to leave it there. If you got questions, you could always hit me up. I am in retirement. I did retire at age 55. Be safe, be healthy, most important, be lucky. Until next time, may all your covered calls be profitable.